Let me tell you a tale. Back in Chapter 6, Season 2, there was an upcoming industry artist named Big Dill. He released a song. You know the one. It goes... This was the first Fortnite song to be officially put on streaming platforms. But did you know that that's a complete different version? One that scrubs all mention of Fortnite and Big Dill from the lyrics? More on that later though. What do you mean later? Oh, well, I mean, I've got a bunch more stuff like this that I need to tell you. Welcome to 2026. My name's Chug. Take out the Chug, and that's Chug for short, and after this video, you're going to be enlightened. I'm entrusting everyone who clicks on this video with knowledge so niche that all of your friends you mention it to will be asking you questions such as, what does this mean? Why is this important? And when was your last shower? Let's waste no time. Those who've been here before, you know the drill. Code Chug in the shop, no spaces, hashtag epic partner. We got a good chunk of things to go through, so let's not waste any time. This is Mingle Game Dance. It's the emote from the Squid Game collab. But did you know that there's actually a different version of this emote? You're gonna hear me say different version a lot, I feel like. When this emote was first teased in a trailer during Wave 1, there actually was an early version of the song that was playing in the background instead of the one we have now. Here's a comparison. Speaking of versions, what about this? This Winterfest, we got a song called Just a Holiday in Battlewood. Very good song, by the way. It's up there on the tier list. Something I learned recently is that the jam loop version of this song contains a lyric that just completely is missing from the actual jam track version. Here's what I mean.
Stay inside the cabin tonight. Stay inside the cabin tonight.
I don't like hot slow juice anyway.
Not the only song with different lyrics. Those who have been here for a bit might remember me talking about Make It Known, which is a song released in Chapter 5 Season 1. I'm not entirely sure why, but the jam track version compared to the lobby track version actually just has complete different lyrics in the chorus. The original goes, while the jam track version goes, I'm not quite sure why. Maybe there's no building allowed in the main stage for some reason. We don't know. Still more music stuff though. Remember Sunny? Chapter 2 Season 7? The girl with the pink hair? She sings about aliens? Well, taking a look at her guitar, it's actually a left-handed guitar, which means that Sunny is one of the very few Fortnite skins that are confirmed to be left-handed. I don't actually know if there's any more than just her. Now I guess to round out a little bit of the music chunk right here, let's go back to Run Amok like we were talking about at the beginning. This song has two versions. One of them is the one you hear in-game. The other one is the one you hear on streaming services. The second one for some reason removes all mention of Big Dill in Fortnite. Here's another comparison so you can actually see what I'm talking about.
We keep it reckless, I'm a big deal, got it hanging on my necklace. So you better watch out when we dropping in, or we gon' leave your Swiss cheese licking condiments like boom. We better clap these fools, send it back to the bar when we crack their loot. And if you're coming back up, we'll crack the two and show you just what the tickle in the back can do.
Weird, right? How about Fortnite OG? OG just added back the original Victory Royale sound effect recently. Except they didn't. It's OG, of course there's a catch. The sound currently used is almost correct. It's actually just missing another layer of sound on top of it. The original one in Season 5 is supposed to have the original sound layered on top of it, but this one doesn't. They actually used to use this version in Creative. Speaking of OG, did you know that even though OG is the mode dedicated to replicating all of Chapter 1, there are currently only 4 correct perfect replica weapons in the game right now, that being the tactical shotgun, heavy AR, hunting rifle, and dual pistols. Never mind, there's 5 now, including this one. I don't know what it is yet. Hopefully they get more, because that's something I want to see. But what about Poseidon butt booty naked? I'm sorry, I had to reference that video. You know the one. Okay, but really though. Poseidon has a spray, and in his spray, he's drawn without shorts. I don't know why. Just do with that what you will. Something that I like to point out, because I think it's really funny, is that Fortnite reuses render poses a lot. If you know where to look, you'll notice that some skins recently have had poses that have been reused on other skins for their featured shop renders. These are a couple of my favorites. We like to play a game where we try to figure out who's using what. It's pretty fun. Now another thing some longtime viewers might remember is Thunder's emote. Back in Chapter 4 Season 2, Thunder had an emote. It looks like this, but it's always had a really weird quirk to it. For some reason, when you do the emote on 30 FPS, the loop is different than when you do the emote on 60 FPS. The loop is actually a little bit longer and it lets him finish out the whole line that he's trying to say.
Anything you need, I'll get that. Let me take the lead, don't sweat that. If you wanna eat, I'll chef that. Come on with your feet, I'll let that. Anything you need, I'll get that. If you wanna eat, I'll chef that. Come on with your feet, I'll let that. Anything you need, I'll get that. Let me take the lead, don't sweat that. If you wanna eat, I'll chef that. Come on with your feet, I'll let that.
Now speaking of him and his song and his voice, characters that have music packs tend to have two different voices compared to who's singing and who's voicing.
Let me show you what a dub is. Brother, I'm cold-blooded. Go with the most love is dropping with the squad does it.
If they took the first draft of my cookbook, let's just say they've made their final reservation.
However, the Cube Queen is actually a rare instance where that isn't the case.
The time for games is over. Leave nothing behind. Isn't it horrible? My prize is inside you. Continue to fight.
You're adorable.
Here's one that you've probably never noticed. The Fortnitemares bus is the only bus in Fortnite OG that they have used outside of the regular bus. It's been the only one that they've brought back. But even then, that's only kind of true, because this actually isn't the original. This is the more updated version. You can tell because it has the regular balloon flame instead of having candles to light the flame. Did you know that Chapter 2 Remix is officially referred to as Chapter 5 Season 5, and Season OG is officially referred to as Chapter 4 Season OG? People might not have known about this one because for the longest time, in-game, it used to say Chapter Fortnite OG, Season Fortnite OG. This caused people to think that Chapter 2 Remix and Season OG were actually just their own chapters. But no, they're part of Chapter 5 and Chapter 4 respectively. Here's an interesting one. I don't exactly have proof for this, but as a fellow controller player, you're just gonna have to take my word for this. AliJax tweeted about it once, so, that's another source. When Chapter 6 Season 4, Shock and Awesome came out, there was a weird bug with the LED splitter. When using a DualSense controller, it would cause the adaptive triggers to actually start functioning. Now, of course, I know you might be thinking, isn't that what they're supposed to do? Well, they would function even when the setting was turned off. The weird side effect about this is that it would function on PC, even though there is no setting to turn on adaptive triggers on PC. It got fixed pretty quickly, so not many people know about this. Very strange though. Something else that not many people know about is the Scar sound in OG. This is one of those weird OG changes that they did without anyone asking and no one noticed it was wrong. In order to explain this the best I can, the Scar sound effect was changed between Season 7 and Season 8. Back in Chapter 1, the only noticeable thing about this was that it was in stereo audio instead of mono audio. But no, it's not just that. The actual sound effect was changed too. Very, very slightly. I'll play it for you right here. One thing you can kind of hear is the case of the bullet coming out of the gun in the original. They got rid of that. Try and tell me if you can spot the difference. Good luck. Speaking of OG, but not this OG, I mean last OG, did you know that the Chapter 4 theme actually foreshadowed that we were gonna go to the old map? At the end of the Chapter 4 theme, you can hear the OG melody play. Very fitting because at the end of Chapter 4, we would be taken to OG. This one's funny. These aren't called edit styles. For the longest time, a majority of the people in this community have been calling these edit styles, when actually they're just called styles. Sometimes unlockable styles, or selectable styles. The reason people said edit styles is because of the original button on the old locker. It said edit style. People took that as the name, when no, the button is not telling you to look at your edit styles, the button is telling you to edit your style. It sounds so obvious when I explain it, but trust me, not everyone knew this, including myself. Did you know that the original tactical shotgun managed to last over 8 years or 39 seasons before getting a sound change? Speaking of shotguns, did you know that there's a bug with the prime shotgun? If you're on controller, you might have known this. If you shoot a prime shotgun, it vibrates your controller just like every other shotgun does, or really any gun in general, as long as vibration is turned on. But for some reason, the prime shotgun has a really weird quirk to it where anytime anybody in the game fires a prime shotgun, it vibrates your controller. At any distance, too. The first shot vibrates your controller no matter who shoots it. This one is super random. We're getting very niche here. Take Me Higher. This song can play on the radio, and it was an FNCS track that was later turned into a jam track. But did you know that the version on the radio doesn't have the KOG tagline in it? How's that for niche, huh? This one's a fun one. There's another music pack in the game called 8-Bit Beat. This came out in Season X and it remixes the Llama Bell music pack, along with adding a new Best Mates remix. The funny thing is that Best Mates would go on to get its own dedicated remix 2 chapters later, and it would take the same melody used in the 8-Bit Beat pack. Something else I find really interesting is that the Best Mates music pack very briefly references the guitar in OG Classic. And while we still got a little bit of OG on us, let's talk about the OG pump. The current pump shotgun sounds like this. Before that, it sounded like this. But for a brief period of time in Chapter 1, Season 6, and Season 7, it sounded like this. Now, this is also how the OG pump in Fortnite OG sounds like right now. But the thing that's kind of funny about that is that this sound effect would go on to be used for years, even after it was changed. How? Well, for starters, they accidentally had it assigned to the combat shotgun for Xbox for a little bit. Whoops. But along with that, for the longest time before the pump got its most recent sound change, if you had your audio quality set to low, the pump would still use its old sound effect. Now I've got one more, just to round it off. The one where all of this stuff began. Chapter 5, Season 2. No, I didn't mean all of Fortnite, I meant like me telling you facts on YouTube. Okay, this season introduced my main, Poseidon. Yes, it's him. But if you head on down to the description of the video, you'll find what looks to be an early name, Slurpsidon. So it looks like along with Ares maybe being in the battle pass, Poseidon's name was probably going to end up being Slurpsidon before they changed their mind. It's a cool name and it makes sense, but I guess logically it doesn't line up with everyone else having their original name, so I see why they didn't keep it. Oh, I forgot I was telling this as a tale. Anyways, I hope that this information is niche enough for you. When is the last time you've had a shower, though?